Deeper, deeper, deeper,
Deeper and deeper and deeper.
They want to figure out how to best ride their bike well. You know, I think a lot of it is based around what they read and what they think they know. So, you know, they read the stuff that's on the internet, or they talk to their best friend about, okay, what is truly training? Well, I train this way, I train that way. You should try the way that I train. But what the system offers is a very unique art of coaching and the science of cycling. There's a science behind that. So understanding these components around how do I break down people's barriers that impede performance is one, around the art of coaching, but also giving people an opportunity at a high level, okay, at a very high level, what's the science behind cycling? There's a science behind it. You know, it, how do you drive endurance? How do you build endurance? What's the importance of cadence? Why do cadence? How to build strength on the bike is I think one of the most critical pieces of training that most people don't get, is the fact that they go from endurance training, they'll do some cadence work, but they totally miss the force development component of training, which in true actuality, if they miss that component, then from a threshold perspective, when they start saying, okay, I'm going to start doing some threshold work, I'm going to do some speed endurance work, I'm going to do some power development work. But what tends to happen is they stop that whole ability to grow because they haven't built the strength to support the threshold and the speed endurance training that they're looking to want to do. Um, I think that's where the rubber really meets the road, which is in that third component of building force, of building strength, lower back strength, or hip development strength, hamstring strength, ligament strength, all those types of things. So I think the other piece of it is how do you then take that whole piece around these 6 elements of training, which is the endurance, cadence, force, threshold, speed, and power, and combine them into a system, quote unquote system, that's linked together in these intricate parts. And those intricate parts, when they're put together, make it an amazing platform and system that elevates people to another level, regardless of where you are. You know, it's I think what's the beauty of what we do and what this program offers is it doesn't matter what type of athlete you are. You could be a rider, you could be a cyclist, or you can be an athlete, but we're all going to still learn the same process, So first of all, be committed. And that's the first thing, about being committed to a goal, having the drive and the commitment to achieve something, right? Once we understand how to build that drive and that ability to achieve something, that's where the relationship becomes better. So you hit it right on the money. It's not just about the number. It's about how do we get people, or how do I get my client and I to connect in more ways than just what you see on the paper, on a piece of paper, or the FTP number going up, or I want to ride faster. At the end of the day, it's important to drive and understand how to really align a lot of the mental skills based around training, not just around the physical piece. Anyone can do physical training, but the mental stuff is where you surpass the goals and break down those barriers. You know, I can tell you all day, I'm like, okay, I want you to do 5 sets of threshold intervals. But if you're not learning anything, and if you're not confident in trying to build that type of mindset, the intervals become sloppy and it becomes a waste of time. So for me, I'm trying to get people to break down their barrier, one, to look at the holistic approach to training, that it's just not about numbers. It's not about numbers. It's about understanding how to build this level of efficiency and control, both mentally and physically, and actually spiritually too. More of an internal type of thing. I think that's where the rubber really meets the road. I see every endurance sport, be it swimming, be it running, be it basketball, be it anything, be it track and field, has a very unique way of building fitness, and it starts from the very beginning. It's you got. I love this phrase. You got to go slow before you go fast. You got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. You got to run before you do all these other things. So I think a lot of times, many programs get you to run before you walk, right? So I think that's where the hardest part is, because they're trying to do too much too soon. And truth be told, you can't build fitness in 12 weeks. It's difficult to do. It takes time and efficiency and control to build a higher level of fitness long term, not just a 12-week program. I think that's where our programs are unique in a way, because they help the individual, first of all, increase the amount of skill development that they have based around mental skills, managing heart rate, cadence control, confidence, drive, and be able to factor in efficiencies around intensity. I mean, it's all those other pieces around that mental component, but it's just not around training, not around the turning the pedals over, So those two together make a unique combination. Here's the methodology. Clearly, the clear methodology is, if I tell you to do a 30-minute endurance ride, and your response back to me says, but I know I can ride harder than that. That's not what I asked you. It's not what I asked you to do. So a lot of that is understanding how to pay attention to detail and follow the directions. Just follow the directions, okay? Because once we understand how to follow the directions, we can then move forward to the next phases of efficiency and control. But if we have bad behavior, this is the methodology around that. If we have bad behavior at the beginning, and we take bad behavior into when it gets really intense and the workouts get harder, we still have bad behavior and bad technique, and we just don't get any better than that. So the first 20, I would have to say, truth be told, probably the first 20 hours of the program is all based around changing people's behavior. Because I'm not trying to fight anybody around behavior. I'm not going to do it. Because it makes it difficult for me to kind of get my message across to the individual if they're not paying attention to the finer things that are the most impactful things. So yeah, we all say that endurance training is boring, but endurance training has a purpose. It's not just around turning the pedals over, it's around getting the people to, or the person to break down their mental barrier. That it's not about riding hard, it's around riding smart. That's part of the methodology that I have.
Deeper, deeper, deeper,
Deeper and deeper and deeper.